It's your boy Grim here, back with another video, and today I got a special video, guys, man. Today we're gonna be doing the ultra tier list. You guys know that the first video I did was like the LF. I ranked every LF off their initial release and everything like that. I think that was a pretty cool video. And I don't know if I'm gonna save this as my last one or not. I don't know if I'm gonna do like the regular Sparkings video before this one, or like the Ultra one second. I don't know which one I'm gonna do second and last. So if this one goes up second, then I'm gonna have a regular Sparking one video coming soon as well. But if not, if I have this one last, then this is the last one. So this one's gonna be pretty difficult. Now the reason why it's gonna be pretty difficult is because you know, with these ultras, you know, a lot of these people's favorite characters that I'm ranking, right? I feel like I'm gonna have a lot of comments in the sections, you know, like, you know, going at me. But I'm gonna try my best. I'm gonna try my best to explain why I put certain units at certain things. And for this one, I'm gonna be a little bit I'm gonna add another thing in there. So you guys know with the Sparkings and the what's the name, I kind of talk about like impact and all that good stuff. I think another thing that I'm gonna add in here just to make it a little bit more spicy is how they age as well. I think that's something that I'm going to do. I'm gonna add aging in here, so it just makes it a little bit more interesting why I put certain characters. Because if I don't do aging, I feel like a lot of them they're pretty much all gonna be in the same tier. So I wanted to spice it up, add in aging, like, all right, so you know, after boost, or you know, like little things like that. So I wanted to add that in, or like, do they get hard counter as soon, like in a month or so, you know, like little stuff like that. I'm gonna take in consideration. So yeah, without further ado, it's gonna be pretty interesting to see what you guys think. I'm trying to be super critical about these. Like I said, some of these guys, some people gonna think like these characters at certain tiers and stuff, but remember, I'm ranking them based off each other, off the ultra tier list. So if I have someone at like S tier, that doesn't mean like he's the same comparison as like TV, for example. No, this is, you're ranking all the ultras against each other. So someone's gonna be lower, and there's gonna be ones at the top, right? We're ranking each other. So don't, if they're at A tiers or S tiers, don't be saying like, I'm not comparing them to the same tier as them. I'm comparing them to the ultra, to each other. You feel me? It's like the goats, right? Some goats are gonna be at the bottom, bro. Some people might have Shaquille O'Neal's a goat, but is he there with Jordan? You know what I'm saying? Like, they're goats though, but you know, it is what it is. So hopefully y'all explain. I know that was a long intro, but I just know a lot of people are gonna be mad at this. So let's get straight to it. So first, I'm gonna scroll up. I'm gonna have Gohan. So first, I have him on the too early thing. It's because I think like by the time when I'm recording this video, basically the Proud thing is still going on. So I don't know how he's going to be after this, because I think the Proud match thing is actually hurting this Gohan, for example. Because if you want to win that Proud match thing, you want to have 6 viable characters. So you got to add 6 viable PvP characters. So you're going to rock like on hybrids like Soda Hope Trunks, Red Beast, and then you might add Red Trunks because he has endurance, then Future Gohan, and then like Pan. But like if you're rocking them on a regular PvP match, you might focus on Zenkai buffers, right? You might add in the green Ultimate Gohan or the green Super Trunks to Zenkai buff them. So I feel like with this Proud match thing, I feel like it's unfair for me to give him an honest rating, because the meta is gonna be different for the Proud match thing. But I think that's like, I have a what's the name in mind, but like I said, I want to see how the meta is once it's back to regular PvP, because then that's when people are gonna start doing the Zenkai buffers and all that stuff. He's a different meta. So that's my reasoning for it. I think you guys should respect that decision, right? I think a lot of you guys didn't like Proud match because of that reason. So I feel like me judging him based off Proud match, whatever it's Pride. I keep saying Pride match, whatever it's called. That's why I'm putting him at too early. So next, we're gonna go to A tier, or trash tier, and I'm sorry, Bora. I'm sorry, but we got Broly at trash tier. You know, I gotta add that I had it for the LFs. Did I have the LFs one? Yeah, I had it for the LFs. I had it for the regular Sparking. I gotta add it for the Ultras too. So Broly's at trash. You know, Broly's is one of those characters where if you look at all the other Ultras, they all kind of had a if you was to say like who's the best character in the game when they dropped, all of them had like, you know, a good amount of votes for them. Like if you was to do a community post, a good amount of percentage was going to say they was the best character in the game. Broly, like Broly probably had like only one voter, which was Baro as like the best character in the game. And the only reason why Broly was even like me when I rated him at the time was like I put him at number 2 is because of Cooler. That's the only reason why I put him at number 2 is because you wasn't going to bring no yellows because Cooler was just that dominant of a character. He was just that dominant of a character that any users not bringing no yellows because he was going to kill you in 2 to 3 cards. Just how much damage this Cooler did. Like all the yellows, you wasn't bringing Future Gohan because you know why Cooler went type neutral against Super Saiyans. You wasn't bringing no yellows. You wasn't bringing no yellow. You wasn't bringing USV. You wasn't bringing Tapion. You wasn't bringing no yellows near this guy. So this guy's value erupted because Cooler was just that dominant of a character. Every good Super Saiyan character to stop him, even the blue Super Saiyans, like he just went type neutral. So this guy's value just went all the way up because of him. Broly, I just felt like he just should have been better. He just should have just been better of a card. I think everyone agrees with that. I mean, they gave him that little mini plat thing. He could have been a better character. He could have been a better character. DBZ Broly, I don't know why they keep seeing him as a tank. I see him more, like make him an offensive like demon, bro. Like, of course, yeah, he was tanking all those hits from Goku and Goku friends, but like, bro, this guy was dominating them. Like, he was murking Piccolo. Like, he kicked him like a field goal. That's my like he ate a like, bro. He was murking like he was murking them too. He wasn't just tanking all those hits. He was murking them, and I feel like they just did a bad representation of him. In my opinion, I feel like he should have been more offensively dominant. I really felt like Cooler, he should have been like what Cooler was. Like when he entered the field, it was like it's over, it's GG's. That should have been Broly, in my opinion. So he's the only one that's in trash. I had to put him the lowest. So next is going to be S tier. Yeah, let's get straight to it, man. Let's get straight to it. So when I said about the aging and stuff, I'm gonna consider this, you know. So next we got Hit and Kid Buu. So, you know, I got Hit there, and then I got Kid Buu. So let's talk about Hit. You know, Hit when he dropped at the end of he dropped the end of what's the name? He dropped the end of let's actually bring this down. He dropped the end of February in 2000 last year, right? I believe when he dropped with MVP 17. And that's when it was going really dummy on the uni reps, right? Like even the month after that, they dropped Rev UI with the Roshi. And you know, Hit was a lot of people was iffy on Hit. It was really more of the fact that he really was dominant off that time gauge thing, the little gauge thing, the whatever you guys want to call it. Like that's like one of like the craziest things, like one of the dopest mechanics of having for Hit. But the only thing was is like it only kind of happened 2 times. Other than that, he was kind of just you can just say a regular character in a sense where he was just doing crazy damage. But once that time get activated, that's when you was like, oh, okay, you know what I'm saying? So it definitely did keep you on edge. There was ways to, you know, like play around it once people got used to it. Because at first you thought it was way broken than it was, but then you realize like, oh, okay, I can, you know, tap bait him. I can do all these certain things and being able to, you know, stop it and stuff. Like if you're in mid range or you're like about to like sidestep and they pop it, you can just dash forward and tap. So those ways of working around his gauge, and I think that kind of hurt him in my opinion as a character. Now granted, he does do extra damage to blues, but he doesn't go type neutral. I believe he only does extra damage to blues, like 30. I think it's like 60 damage, so he wasn't really type neutral. That kind of hurts. That kind of hurts him as a character of not just going straight type neutral. Granted, he does do extra damage to blues, but it's not type neutral. Type neutral is different than doing extra damage to blues, in my opinion. So I rank that him not going type neutral kind of hurt this character a bit. Like I said, he's not bad, but like I said, if we're ranking him over other characters, I think I'm gonna put him S tier. You know, you guys might argue with that. He had great moments in PvP in the meta and stuff, but if you're comparing it to these other ultras, even when Unirep was the best team and they needed the red. People just replaced them with UVB. Like, of course, granted, that was like 5 months later, but he was the red. He was like the main red of Unirep, and like people just replaced him. Go Frieza, 17, and UVB. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not hurting that, but I'm just saying, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, bro. So next we'll have Kid Buu. Kid Buu, Kid Buu was really powerful. Kid Buu, a lot of people hated Kid Buu, but I think the thing that hurt Kid Buu was the type neutral. I think that played a huge effect. He was really dominant, and then once they had a really powerful red, like, granted, Kid Buu kind of struggled against his hit because he didn't have type neutral. Now, granted, he did a lot of damage, but hit was able to heal every time he gets hit. I believe that's one of his mechanics. But then once you dropped another powerful red like UVB, Kid Buu couldn't do nothing. There was times where like UVB just popped one ult and like Kid Buu was dead for me. Like my Kid Buu against top tier UVBs. Granted, now he had the double card draw speed. Last stand, he nullified endurance. He has the AoE green card, a lock in blue card. Like, Kid Buu has some really great things about his kit, but I think like that type neutral, like it hurts. Like, it definitely hurts. Like, dropping the ultimate card and not having going type neutral against that red, like, that helps. That helps a ton. So he's doing type disadvantage against a red. I think that plays into fact. Also, I mean, that he was also on some really powerful teams, bro. Granted, that Rose and Kid Buu lineup, that it was like a PO setup where you could rock Hit, Kid Buu, and Rose together. That was really nice. You could rock Rose, Kid Buu, and then Blue Zamasu here. Where's Blue Zamasu? I don't think Blue Zamasu's here, is he? Yeah, Blue Zamasu, right? You had double endurance of that, like, that PO team. That was really powerful. I think another thing that kind of hurt Kid Buu was his Zenkai buffers. I think that also to play a fact that, yeah, you had Zenkai DKP, but Zenkai DKP only gave strike attack. He didn't do like the strike attack and defense. Then you had Yellow Piccolo. Yellow Piccolo helped with blast attack, even though he's a strike attacking unit. So that's not helping him with his main damage. It's strike attack, he's doing blast. And then you had that Yellow Goku, where the Yellow Goku's regular Z ability does yellow. It only helps yellow. So then you're rocking him on regen. Someone that's not leader, like for example me, I rock like Orange Piccolo, Zamasu, and him. Zamasu not getting that Z ability because he's yellow. He buffs the yellow Z attack, even though it's the best Z ability for Kid Buu. You're risking that with missing the Z ability for Blue Zamasu. So I think that also plays in the fact as well, like his Zenkai buffers hurt. Now granted, like with Hit, he at least had Bergamo as an HP buffer, so he always gonna have a Zenkai buffer on that team for Hit. So I think that kind of hurts Kid Buu a little bit. Is the type neutral, it's the Zenkai buffer. And I think putting him on S is fair. I think it is fair. He was definitely annoying to deal with because I used them and faced them and stuff like that. The double card draw speed, but we're comparing him to the other ultras. He got to be a little bit lower. So let's hop into Z, and Z is these characters. So Ultra Janemba, like I said, the biggest thing why these characters is in Z compared to Z Plus is really just the way they age. I think that's really, when you compare to the Z's and the Z Plus, like they're really the same, but what hurt these characters compared to the units that's in Z Plus, in my opinion, is their aging, and like I think that's really the biggest thing. That's really the biggest thing. You'll see why they all have the same thing. Cause that peak, it was really powerful. I put Janemba last because yeah, Janemba had that counter thing. I think that counter thing was really annoying, right? Like beginning of the game, you get an instant ult, but like I said, once people started to, play against Janemba more, they was really prepared for that counter. Like, all right, I'm gonna make sure I have a green in the background every time. So once I land a strike card, you pop the gauge, and then you just throw in your green unit to soak that damage up, right? When Janemba dropped, you had Orange Piccolo, and then a couple weeks later you had Pycon Gogeta, and then like a couple weeks after that you had Evo Vegeta. You had 3 powerful greens. Then like a couple weeks after that you had Goku Bardock. So like, and then Piccolo got his plat equip. So that's gonna hurt Janemba, right? Like in a span of a month and a half, 2 months, while he was in boost, they just they made a green unit better that was on his team. Then you had another green revival. Then you had a Zenkai green unit. I think that Super Gogeta, he did extra damage, right? I mean, he was decent. I'm not saying he was really powerful, but then you had Evo. Evo as a blast character kind of negates his whole strike cover chain. He was a blast based unit. Evo just did a ton of damage. Now granted, he did extra damage to the Goku side, but that Vegeta side just melted Janemba. Then you also had Goku Bardock, just a better revival character, right? And you know, Bardock just does so much damage. Like, you know, I think that hurts Janemba. Now granted, Janemba could go type neutral, right? If he loses that ally, I believe he goes type neutral for 5-time accounts. But I think his gauge wasn't really the best either compared to these other gauges. I think his was, you know, it's not the best, right? I think like him doing, he only probably has a chance of countering twice a game, right? One time is a guaranteed ultimate card, and then the second time, if you don't have a blue card or ultimate, then you just counter it for no reason. So I think that kind of hurts him as well, a little bit as well. So I think I said well twice like that, but I'm gonna put him Z. I think that's the right what's name to put him. Now granted, he did have a good purple LF cell and stuff as like someone that can deal with these greens, but you know, I think putting him at Z is understandable for sure. I think that's understandable, so I'm gonna put him at Z. Next we got USV. USV is one of those characters when he dropped really powerful. I mean, I think he has one of the worst gauge out of the ultra characters, right? Like you had to, like, if they do the tap bait, you have to do the strike, but there is really a way of chaining it. Of course, if you land that next, you get that next priority type neutral and stuff like that. I think that kind of that hurts USV a bit. But when he dropped, he was really powerful. But like I said, there was some good reds around. Like you had droids around, you know, running around the what's name, the 4th anniversary, no, 4th anniversary. And then you had UI Goku, right? UI Goku was part of the nice Saiyan team that he was part of. Him, Dragon Fist, and then USV. Now, granted, USV was also had his own powerful team where it was him and Super Gogeta, and I believe Zenkai LFVB was the 3rd character. I don't remember. Or you could do like double. You could do yellow, yellow, blue, where you had future Gohan on the team, so you had like double endurance. So you had some good teams. I'm not saying like he was like trash, but I feel like the biggest thing that hurt USV was there was some decent reds when he dropped that could, you know, combat him. MUI was really powerful. Droids, you know, they can nullify endurance and they can go red, and then if you have the Super Gogeta, you can go blue. So it was like there was a double-edged sword, because if your rotation was bad with them, then the Super Gogeta USV combo could just take over them. So it was like, no matter, it depends on who you play and if they're able to keep up with the rotation. This character could just demise both of the ultras, but then the ultras can also demise them as well. So it was like, it just depends on the match. Then after that, bro, like pretty much a month later, they dropped like arguably like the craziest card counter character that we ever witnessed in this game's history. Like this guy countered them completely. Like they just like, all right, let's just shut USV down completely. Cooler, pop 2 strike cards, he's like half his HP is gone. You bring in Super Gogeta, Ultra Super Gogeta, he's a blue Super Saiyan, so he's type neutral. Any blues you bring, he's type neutral. So it was just like, he hurt him. Like just any Super Saiyans you just wasn't gonna bring, because you needed that blue to slow him down, and you wanted him to be that blue to be type advantage. So like Soda Hope Trunks, no. Him, no. USV, no. Super Gogeta, no. Like you just wasn't bringing those Super Saiyans either to deal with this guy. And I think his counter, him being that hard counter for USV hurt him. So that's why I kind of put him at Z tier as well. And then like I said, there was some decent reds in there as well. So I think I probably might put USV over Kaioken. I think looking back at it, I might, but I think just the hard counter of Cooler was the reason why I put him in the middle. So next we have Kaioken. I think Kaioken peak Kaioken was probably the most insane Ultra on release. I don't know if a lot of you guys played against Kaioken Goku. A lot of you guys, you know, he's probably like one of the worst aging Ultras in the game for sure. But when he was peaked, it was ridiculous. He was absolutely ridiculous. Like, first of all, he's sealing strike cards every time he enters the field. This game is strike heavy, so having blast armor characters, every time he enters the field, he just knows like you can't pop a strike card, so he can easily initiate by tackling. Then let him PV you. Let him get priority when he vanishes and he gets that priority. He's going to get his vanish back. He gets double card draw speed. He's just going to combo you forever. He has endless amounts of green cards. His just the amount of cards he's able to draw and just the amount of damage he did as himself was insane. It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. And then don't even mention the fact like his team. His team was basically like Beast Gohan, Pan, and Future Gohan in a sense. Where you had two characters that was just supporting him. The team was green Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta because he had his Zenkai at the time. And then people was rocking green Vados. So green Vados, every time she's switching out, she's giving support and key. Every time this Vegeta is landing cards, he gives support, as well. Every time he lands a card and everything like that. And then basically double supporting him. And then you just like, alright, let's just take over. You just bring Kaioken. Like Kaioken did most of the damage, and then you had two people that was kind of doing some extra damage. You had Vegeta that can like lock in and like with his ultimate card and snipe a character out as a good, very, very powerful secondary offensive unit. But then he was also served as a support character. And then like I said, Vados was a support character for Kaioken, and Kaioken was just running rampant. If you didn't stop Kaioken, if you can't get priority against Kaioken, you just sitting there just watching, because he just comboed forever. He gets his vanish back. Like the way he charged, learning how to charge that with the strike cards and the blast cards, like just helped you just dominate with Kaioken. Kaioken was insane. But like I said, the thing that hurt him was as soon as there was a powerful red, he was out the meta. I don't believe there was really any crazy reds for real like that. I think it was really until the droids pulled up, I think towards the end of April, because he dropped in March. Once the droids pulled up, you didn't see no more Kaioken. So I think that hurts Kaioken the most. But I don't know. See, like I said, I could put Kaioken last just because how poorly he aged, but I feel like peak Kaioken was better than these two. So maybe Kaioken could go like in the middle and then USV here. I think Janemba stays here. But I think the reason why I put him over USVs is because peak Kaioken was utterly ridiculous. But he aged bad too. But the thing is, he aged bad too because of Cooler. He got hard counter harder than him. I mean, they did extra damage to Saiyans and stuff. And I believe they did extra damage to Super Saiyans. So I mean, he was a Super Saiyan. He wasn't. He was just a yellow Saiyan. So it was like they both got hard counter, but USV got hard counter the most, and then Pete. So I don't know. I think that's a good spot. So we got with the Z tier. We got two more tiers, man. We got two more tiers. So without further ado, let's get straight to Z plus. So Z plus, we got this. Now, I might switch Z plus. I might switch Rose and UVB, but I'm gonna make my decision after I talk. So first we have UI San. I think UI San just wasn't a bad character. I felt like it was one of those things where when he dropped, like the fact that you had such a powerful character of Beast Gohan, a lot of people wasn't really too, like I said, he's really good. Wasn't too scared of him because they was like, hey bro, I got Beast Gohan. Like, I'm saying, I'm fine. I got Beast Gohan, I'm fine. I can deal with the UI San Goku. Now granted, UI kind of stopped a lot of the strike based characters. Like every time you land a strike card, he does the little UI gauge thing. The strike stops that, or the dash forward blue cards. A lot of the headline characters had dash forward blue cards. Like Janemba, his blue card did that. Orange Piccolo, he was like a top 10 character. Then you had Beast Gohan, he has a dash forward blue card. You had Goku Bardock. You had Evoken had the dash forward blue card. So I mean, he stopped a lot of the top tier characters in the anniversary. I think the thing that kind of what I pushed them back a little bit was the whole there's a few things. One is like I said, Beast Gohan. A lot of people didn't really was like, I got Beast Gohan, I'm fine, right? Like, I'm not, and people were arguing that Beast Gohan was better just because, this a hard kind of red. which is, you know, I gotta respect that, right? I gotta respect those opinions because that's actually pretty true. But I mean, this guy's annoying though. I think one thing that why I put him at Z plus to the God tier is, you know, facing UI, like there's like the, it's hard for me to say like skill gap in this game, but like for the people that just knows how to, like you'll know like if there's a good UI player, like you will notice a good UI player versus a bad UI, Ultra UI Goku, right? I feel like that is very noticeable, especially with, you know, with the UI characters, knowing how to use that gauge and the counters and all that stuff there. I mean, the fact that he can decimate any purples if you switch, he does that no lock thing. I think little things like that, you gotta really take advantage of UI Goku. And like I said, I think putting him at Z plus is not bad. I mean, he has powerful blues on his team. Like, I mean, he has, especially that Sun Fam team. Like, he has this guy. Like, I really like this guy. I like this character a lot. I think a lot of people don't not really respecting him, but I think he's really powerful. Then he had 17 on the Unirep team, and then he also had the Goku Bardock. So I mean, he had some powerful blues, but also there was a lot of powerful greens as well. So like, if Beast Gohan was on that team, Beast Gohan had the Goku side. I mean, had the Bardock side to deal with the blues. So it was just, it was interesting with the Goku because as many blues that could help him deal with the Gohan, there was also a lot of greens that could help Gohan as well deal with the blues. So it was just a weird meta because he wasn't bringing no purples because this UI Goku shut down the purple. So yeah, I'm gonna put him in the Z plus. Next we got Rose. Rose, definitely the second character I hate the most because I hate his playstyle. Like, I just hate it. I think just him having the fast blue card, like he can just pop the blue card freely. If you don't PV him, it's basically wraps. So I think that's a big thing dealing with Rose is that fast blue card, and he can just launch it with no penalty. I think another thing is just every time you switch, he gets card draw speed. Like, just stacking up the card draw speed whenever he wants to is insane. I mean, he gets 3 ultimate cards throughout the match. So like, that's that's a problem to deal with. Type neutral helps him, and then he had the bleed. No, does he have the bleed? I think he has the bleed effect. The paralysis off the blue card is annoying as well. Blast armor. You know, I think everything went well with this character. You would think I'll put him at God tier, but I think there's one character that kind of slowed him down, and it's a character that's in God tier. One of the ultra characters was really like the best purple to slow him down. I mean, granted, he can go type neutral and deal with that character. I think that's really my biggest knock with Rose is that. So that's why I want to put him. I think I'm gonna put him above UVB. I probably have to do it this way, actually. Yeah, I do it this way. I think that's his biggest knock was Ultra Gogeta Blue. I think that was really his knock because there wasn't really no other purples slowing him down. I guess you can argue and say him, but it wasn't really like, it was really just, it was really, what's the name, bro? It was really UGB that kind of what's keeping them from the God tier list, in my opinion. So I'm gonna put him there. I think I'm gonna put him closer to the God tier compared to UVB. UVB, I'll put him Z plus as well. I think the biggest character that hurt him was buffing this character here, buffing Go Frieza. Like, if Go Frieza didn't get his buff, he would be undisputed #1 for the 5th anniversary. But they decided to buff him, and I just think that Unirep team was a really good counter for UVB. I mean, if you look at the top 3 characters for Unirep, you had this guy that can go blue. You had this character here, I believe he does extra damage to Fusion Warriors. UVB's best thing is going type neutral, Rise of Rush, and nullifying endurance. He takes away that buffs. He has a Rise of Rush counter. And then also at the time, you had this guy. And I think this guy did extra damage to Fusion Warriors, right? He does extra damage to Fusion Warriors or God Key. So like the main Unirep team all had characters that can counter him. Extra damage to Fusion Warriors. He stopped his one of his best mechanics in the game. I mean, best mechanics of his kit. Yeah, this guy that stops his Rise Rush as well, so it's hard to Rise Rush. And they're on the blue side. Then you also had this guy that does Exodus and Fusion Warriors. I think these three characters played a huge part in slowing UVB down, right? Like a lot of people wasn't putting him number one. Me personally, I put him number one because what he did to my team, my region team. He shut down Kid Buu. He shut down Zamasu, type neutral rush, right? So like he just basically neglected two of my best characters for my region team. But if I was playing meta, I wouldn't really be too worried against UVB because I had Go Frieza, I had 17, 2 blues there, and then I had someone that did extra damage to Fusion Warriors. And then a month after that, they dropped him, right? Like someone that was supposed to really, really hard counter him. But I just think the fact, even without him dropping, just these three characters, really kind of like put him in check even at his peak. So that's the reason why I put him at Z plus. If it really wasn't for him, because honestly, like UVB could deal with him and them. Now, granted, UVB also had Rose on this team, but like I said, you have purple here, and then you have purple here, extra damage to, like this is a really powerful purple with Goku here, and then you also had this Goku side of Go Frieza that did a ton of damage. So like if Rose gets sniped, it's over. I think UVB had a really powerful team as well with Future. You had Soda Hulk, Trunks, and then you had the purple Cell. So he had a really nice trio there. I mean, you can add Rose if you wanted to, but since he didn't really have a dominant green on his side to really like keep in check with all these blues that was keeping them in check, or like a powerful yellow, because no one wasn't bringing no yellow because of him. So you didn't want to bring a yellow because of you facing UVB and he's shutting them down, and then his green character was getting shut down by these purples. So that's my reason why I put UVB at Z plus. Other than that, like if it wasn't for him getting a buff, I would have put him God tier. But yeah, that's pretty much it there. So now I'm gonna show you guys the God tiers. I mean, if you are pretty smart with the Ultra, you should know who's in the God tier. A lot of you guys might, argue with this, but it's the Gogetas. It's the Gogetas. I'm not being biased, but let's talk about it. Now, this Ultra Gogeta, Ultra Super Gogeta is gonna have an advantage compared to everyone else because of him being the first Ultra Sonable character. Like we ain't never seen that type of power, that type of level of power before. It's a new Sonable rarity. He's gonna have something different for his kit. One, the Ultra tier, just the straight up damage inflicted buffs that he has in the kit. Like everything in his kit is a power creep. Him being a Sonable Ultra is a power creep. When he first dropped, I mean, people were rocking some greens. People was rocking greens because of the whole mono purple team. You wanted to have double yellows and the green to keep Goku, the blue boys in check. But him being able to lock you in, lock you in twice and then type neutral twice against the green was really powerful. That Fusion Warriors team was really insane at the time. You had this guy. Then I think around that time, it wasn't really around that time, but if I can scroll down, like this guy had his plat not too long ago, so he was pretty good. He was still a really powerful character. Gogeta 4 with his plat. I think his plat dropped like around was it September, October. So he was still able to compete in there. Not only that, you had this guy Zenkai. So he was just on a really powerful Fusion Warrior team. And then also people just leader slotted Future Gohan. If you remember, one of the best Fusion Warriors team was leader slot Gohan. You had this guy, you had him, you had USG, then you Zenkai buff USG with Namek Goku. Where you at, Namek Goku? You had Namek Goku as a Zenkai buffer there. And then, whoever you wanted as the last unit, you could Zenkai buff him a little bit more. But it was really just like that powerful Fusion Warriors team. Him being the first Ultra, like the fact that every time he landed a card, every time he got his gauge, he got a blue card, and he just straight up just destroyed your whole hand was pretty dumb. Having an ultimate card, I think he had 2 ultimate cards, so he was one of the few characters to have multiple Ultimate cards at the time. I think the only thing that kind of hurt him was cut pin. I think he doesn't have cut pin, something like that. Billy keeps saying that's one of his biggest flaws, but I mean, peak him, like the way he aged as well too. He aged enough to where this guy kind of really cut him off for real. Him being the blue Super Saiyan, him being type neutral against any Super Saiyan he sees, hurt him. This guy survived all the way to the fourth anniversary, where he would be able to pair up with him as a really nice, powerful duo against the tag droids. I think that helped him out a ton. I think he just aged really well. He aged really well, bro. I remember like around the cooler meta, like people still kind of had him in the top 10, the top 5, the top 8 area. And that's really impressive just because he had like Kaioken, you had the tag droids, you had USV, you had cooler. Like the fact that he was able to still stay in the top 10 is really powerful. But like I said, he was also the first Ultra. So that helped him out a ton. Why I put him at God tier. He was dominant. He had a really powerful team when he dropped. When he first came out, he aged pretty well. Nowadays, these Ultras be getting hard counter in like 2 to 3 months. He aged all the way until like September, and he dropped December. That's really impressive. That's really impressive, and like I said, he is the first son of an Ultra, so that's going to give him some more leeway as well, being a dominant when he first dropped. So, granted, now people were trying to argue that Blue Boys was better and stuff like that. I personally I feel like he was leagues amongst them. Like the fact that they needed multiple Zenkai buffs and everything like that. This guy was insane. I mean, he was insane. I hated facing them. I didn't mind facing Blue Boys, but I hated facing Gogeta. Gogeta was annoying. And then you could run them together if you wanted to rock a movie saga team together. You could just rock them together. So, last but not least, I think the best Ultra I put is gonna be UGB. I think dang. Okay, so my face, oh my god, my face thing, oh man, that's tough. All right, so we're gonna, it's basically the last video. It's pretty much the last character and stuff, so I'm gonna be talking here. So anyways, with UGB was just, he was just insane, bro. He was insane. Like, he first dropped, now granted his comp was Beast Gohan, but also, I mean, he could be ran with Beast Gohan. They were both part of the movie saga team, so you could just do Beast, him, and Pan. And the thing that made Gogeta Blue, to me, was just way better than Beast Gohan is, one of the biggest things why Beast Gohan was such an annoying unit to deal with was you didn't want to rise and rush against his team, because you rise and rush him, he gets endurance, then he heals up, he gets like all these extra little buffs and stuff. But with UGB, he just nullified it. He just nullified endurance. Like, even with Future Gohan, like, if you had a yellow, he was going to be able to kill him, even though he was a yellow. Like I said, with Beast Gohan, he doesn't really care about his endurance either, because he just nullified it. I mean, once this guy hits a certain timer counts, he gets double card draw speed. His gauge thing was pretty annoying to deal with as well. I mean, this guy had it all. Green card, like, I mean, I just think this guy was the best Ultra, like, when he first dropped. I mean, I believe his like rival in a sense was probably like the craziest character out of all these other people's rivals, if you get what I'm trying to say. Where, like, I mean, this guy cold-heartedly resetted the whole game when he dropped. Like, he reset like every character that dropped before him. Like, you couldn't use any character besides you couldn't use any character that dropped before him besides Future Gohan. And it's because Future Gohan, did he get a plat at the time? That Future Gohan, he got a plat, and then he was part of hybrids, and he supported him. He made him even stronger, right? But UGB, and then also, like I said, like Tag 4s as well. But like I said, Tag 4 dropped after, so like any characters before him was really just unusable. And then, like I said, like UGB was just utterly ridiculous, bro. Insane. Like I said, I think him just on the movies team with him and Pan, and then you could just add anybody as a third. You could leader slot him and get him. He can get like the whole double health thing as well. I just think UGB is the best in my opinion for me. You know, some people might argue with that, but like I said, he even shut down the best character at the time, which was Beast Gohan. Tag fours, he could go type neutral against the Vegeta side, extra damage against the Goku side there. And then, like I said, he did extra damage. He could go type neutral against the Trunks side, Trunks and Vegeta, the Gallic father son Gallic gun. So really powerful character. He aged really well as well. Like it really wasn't until Kid Buu, and Kid Buu dropped what, May. So I mean, end of April, beginning of May. So it really took 5 months for him to really get that hard counter to really slow him down. It didn't really drop no crazy yellow characters at the time. I'm trying to think, like, yeah, like, I mean, he was like the only yellow, but like that didn't stop UGB at all. This guy, like, offensively, he just couldn't do enough damage to keep UGB in tech. Even though he had endurance, he just nullified it. Like, it really wasn't like a really good hard counter for him until Kid Buu. Like, you had Roshi there, like, to do the Mafuba thing. Like, it was a nice little gimmicky thing, but it didn't really stop him either. I mean, he was able to keep this guy from not hitting God tier, in my opinion, because just how powerful of a purple he was. He made this guy useless, in my opinion. Where you at? Rev UI useless because just how powerful of a purple he was. So I put him at number one for me. A lot of you guys disagree. Like I said, with Gohan, I have to still wait and see what he can do with the regular PvP match and stuff like that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe, and Griff, man, I'm out. Peace.